What's going on, y'all? My name is Brian Sanchez, and welcome to Living the Magic. It's been a little while since we've done an episode, but we got some updates, breaking news, 5 things that Disney is changing that's supposed to make your visit to the Disney parks a whole lot easier. I have a bone to pick with that number of 5. It's really only like 3, but I will dive into it here momentarily. But, yesterday, Disney Parks blog posted a bunch of the news outlets kind of started carrying it. Some changes, things coming back to the Disney parks. And yes, like the main criticism of the Disney parks over the last year and a half or so from a lot of fans, particularly folks like us who consume Disney park content all the time, even, like your average day visitor have really been noticing that it's just become so complicated to visit the Disney parks. Park reservations and lightning lanes and a lot of the things that they used to offer were no longer being offered as perks of staying on property and things like that. And so apparently Disney has heard the complaints and the opinions of its guests and are rolling out what they claim to be 5 updates that are going to be making your visit easier. I love these updates. I love these announcements. I want to get that out of the way and say I think this is a fantastic thing that's happening. So what can we expect coming to the Disney parks? There is a link to an article, the full article. I'm not going to read the entire article here on the show, but I will go over them, highlights, and here and there. And so let's roll it away. The first thing, they say that these updates are coming for the bookings that are about to drop starting for January 9th of 2024. So again, starting May 31st, I believe some of these will be in effect, but most of these are going to be applying to trips coming in 2024. Those itineraries are about to drop, booking windows are about to open. And so what can we expect? Well, the number one on this list is the one that I have been harping on forever since they rolled it out, and that is removing theme park reservation requirements for date-based tickets. Now, there are caveats to this. It sounds great on paper, and when you first just say it, like no more reservations, but of course, there are limitations. This is specifically for the base date ticket that you purchase if you book an entire Disney World resort vacation. You check in your hotel, you buy tickets for the duration of your stay, and so you will no longer be required to have individual park reservations for those types of tickets. Date-specific tickets, things like that, date range tickets, will no longer require you to also then go through and book a reservation for what park you want to go to, which is a huge step in the right direction. So bravo to Disney and the folks doing this. I understand the park reservation system is really helpful and beneficial for Disney, but it's frustrating and cumbersome a lot of times to explain that to folks that have never done this before and are just trying to kind of rock up and go to the parks. And so removing a little bit of that barrier, I think is a great step in the right direction. If you are buying non-date specific tickets, so Disney does sell things like where you can have 4 days to be used at certain point during the next year or so, things like that, Florida resident deals. Tickets like that may still require a reservation. And annual parks, or annual pass holders will also still need to have reservations on select days, but that is the second thing that they're announcing, and this is a big one as well. Disney is rolling out something that they're calling good to go days. Basically, these are days where annual pass holders and cast members will not need a theme park reservation. So these will be rolled out as they can, I guess. You'll have to still check your app and the reservation calendar to see what days those apply. But I'm going to assume these are days that are projected out into the future that are going to be slower days. Days that, the parks are not going to be super crowded. These aren't going to be on holidays. These aren't going to be probably weekend days. These are probably going to end up being, daytime, weekdays, in the what used to be referred to as the off season, slow times in the fall and the early spring before spring break comes through. Honestly, at this point, there is no slow season at the Disney parks anymore. It is crowded and packed from January 1st through January 1st at this point. Folks plan big vacations and take their kids out of school pretty much regardless, but definitely summertime, spring break, holidays, the end of the year definitely get more crowded. But this, again, is another thing that I think, the hardcore fans have really been hoping for. We've all been longing for the days where we don't have to plan out our Disney vacations or our Disney trips, months and months or weeks or even days ahead of time. Like, a lot of people moved to Central Florida or that have always lived in Central Florida have really enjoyed the ability to just on a whim go to a Disney park. It's one of the biggest perks of living in Orlando. And when I lived there for the longest time, having a random day where, I didn't have to end up working or something happened and I ended up with a free day. And I would just kind of look at my friends and say, hey, let's just go to Epcot. Let's just go to Magic Kingdom today. And being able to just kind of go and not have to think about it. So this is one step closer to that. Now, again, these are select days. You'll have to double check to make sure, but I would imagine that as these kind of move forward, hopefully there will be more and more of these added to the schedule and you can kind of predict what's happening. But checking the reservation schedule and the calendars is something we're going to have to live with for a little bit longer, but at least we're moving away from just rigid park reservation requirements and more to the free going, being able to just kind of pop into the parks whenever we want. Number 3, I think, is the biggest one that I think I've been seeing online that folks are super excited about. And this is definitely one that is something they're bringing back. And that is the dining plan. Folks have been lamenting the death of the dining plan for years at this point. It went away, during COVID lockdowns, and when the parks opened back up, the dining plan was not something that was offered anymore. My apologies. And folks really, really hated that and really missed it. I'm on record saying that the dining plan is not for me. If you are the kind of person that likes to snack and doesn't really end up eating 3 square meals every single day when you're in the parks, the dining plan is probably not for you. But if you are a family on a budget that knows that you are going to be sitting down at table service restaurants and going to get breakfast and lunch and dinner every single day at quick service restaurants, it is a fantastic way to save a little bit of money, to take a little bit of that stress off your plate, knowing that it's all paid for and you have credits that you can just kind of use as you go throughout the parks. And folks love the dining plan. Folks specifically love when there are discounted rates and packages that offer the dining plan as a free perk for traveling at a certain time of the year. And, with the dining plan gone, free dining deals were not going to happen. So with the return of the option to book the dining plan, also comes the potential for Disney to drop some kind of deal, some kind of discounted rates, where you either get discounts on dining or, of course, traveling during a certain time, booking certain resorts for a certain amount of days, can get the free dining plan included. Now, the 2 options, there are only 2 versions of the dining plan coming back. If you remember, there were multiple tiers of the dining plan. It's the quick service dining and table service dining, or the Disney dining plan, which is 1 table service and 1 quick service, or the quick service dining, which was 2 quick service meals per day. Again, link to an article that has a lot more in-depth detail on these restrictions and all the specifications and stuff like that of all these offers. But again, Dining plan returning, absolutely fantastic. Again, it's not for me. It's not the way we like to travel and eat in the parks, but I know tons of people that really do love it and get a lot out of it. And so I am really glad that this is coming back. Now we're going to get into something that I don't understand how this is an announcement. Number 4 on Disney's things that they are bringing back to make, or updates, they are calling them updates to make your visit easier. They say, number 4, more park time for Disney Resort hotel guests. Early theme park entry for all Disney Resort hotel guests and extended evening hours for guests staying at Disney Deluxe Resort hotels and Disney Deluxe villas will continue through 2024. Valid theme park admission and resort ID required. Weren't they already doing this? And that's not a question. I know the answer to that is yes, because we stayed at Pop Century a couple months back. And yeah, we got into all of the parks early every day. This is not an update. This is just reiterating something that you're already doing. It's kind of weird. But I guess we're not taking that away. Maybe there was a rumor or thought that maybe taking that away. It makes no sense why this is added on a list of updates, but cool. Yes. Yes. If you stay on property at a Disney resort, you get early admission into the parks, usually about an hour. Sometimes the cast members let you in a little bit earlier and then let the crowds go through. But yes, you need valid park ticket and a proof of staying at a resort hotel. So like your Magic Band, your on the app, you need to be actually currently staying at a Disney resort hotel in order to gain early park access. I believe the Good Neighbor hotels as well, near like Disney Springs and stuff, also get you into early park access. Again, great perk of staying on property. Get you about an hour in, early on in the morning. Deluxe resort, guests, folks staying at the villas and stuff get to stay a little bit extra at the end of the day, which I actually did not know that was a thing, but that's also been a thing that's been going on for a while. Shows you what tier of hotels we stay at. But yeah, again, this is something that they were already doing. So, no, I'm not giving you credit on this one. This is, there's only 3 updates so far. The last one that they mentioned is something that they're planning on doing. And this was another one that I applauded them and thanked them for doing this, but plan ahead with Disney Genie Plus service. This is on the small little clip here. We are working on ways to help guests plan with Disney Genie Plus service and individual Lightning Lane selections before their visit so they can spend more time with friends and family in the parks. I guess that's the change that they announced is before the visit. So if you've been following this channel and our, adventures in the parks, you know that I hate Genie Plus. I hate Lightning Lanes. I hate the whole process. When we went on our trip, a couple months back, bless my wife, she was the one that ended up kind of managing the Lightning Lanes and Genie Plus for us on this trip. And, but I feel like every 30 minutes or so, I would look over at her and she would be messing around with the Genie Plus app, trying to get Lightning Lanes and like remembering, to check for what was available. The most egregious of this, I mean, it may not be that important to you, but we were literally in the middle of watching Muppet Vision 3D, and she had to look down at her phone and try to get the Lightning Lanes for Smuggler's Run that we were trying to get at Hollywood Studios. In the middle of an attraction, she is messing around on her phone, because that was the window that it was time for us to book our next Lightning Lane, and we were trying to get a rather large group of us onto Smuggler's Run. And that, I think, is very, very poor show. I think if it requires someone in your party to potentially be missing out on an attraction in order to make sure that your party can enjoy an attraction later in the day, I hate that system. I hate it so much. I understand a lot of people love the game aspect of it. I know a lot of people love, the ability to get in on a shorter line. I am in the camp that says that would wish they would just get rid of it. I really, really do. I really think Lightning Lanes, even Fast Passes, like even that old system, I didn't particularly like that as much. I liked that one better than Genie Plus. But I wish it would just kind of be, you're in the park. If you want to ride an attraction, we'll just go wait in line. Lightning lanes in Genie Plus and Fast Passes did not come back when the park started reopening. And everyone kind of remembered how it used to be. I know I sound like an old man when I say it, but back in my day when we used to go to the parks, you just stood in line. And I don't remember ever really standing in line for longer than an hour and a half or so for anything, on those major attractions. And things like lightning lanes and Fast Pass Plus and stuff tend to artificially inflate the wait times of smaller attractions. Things like Peter Pan, it's notorious for having a 90 plus minute wait to get on a ride that is less than a minute long in Fantasyland that is an Omnimover. Like, there's no reason. But anyways, I'm going off on a tangent now. I guess they announced that Genie Plus will no longer be required to be bought on the day and logged in at 7 a.m. that morning. You will have a grace period ahead of time where you can log in and try to book those lanes. Again, all that really does is change that 7 a.m. wait till the timer goes and then try to, rush through and grab your lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance or Mickey's Runaway Railway, whatever it is. It just moves it 60 days ahead, 30 days ahead, whatever they end up doing. You're still going to end up having to do that because lightning lanes will probably still sell out. Genie Plus will still sell out on the craziest of days. A couple weeks ago there was, holidays and spring break days where, it was within minutes. Every single Genie Plus available for that day was completely sold out resort wide. So, it is definitely a popular thing kind of by design because they kind of make you do it in order to get the most out of, the parks, but that's a whole other discussion. But changes to Genie Plus coming. Hopefully it becomes something that's closer to what FastPass Plus used to be. That would be great. As much as I didn't particularly like using FastPass Plus and all that, because I would prefer to just kind of go to the parks, and if I'm going to stand in line, I'll just go stand in line, and if I want to ride this, I'll just go wait. But I understand a lot of people love that planning aspect of it, and it does give you a little bit more control and a little bit, of an idea of how to plan your day out. So, and I know that's a whole section of the fandom that loves to do that kind of stuff. So, for those folks, this is a fantastic welcome, addition, and who knows, maybe it will in fact make the experience a whole lot better, and I'll come around. I'm open-minded. I'm willing to give it a shot. Those are the 5 things that are listed in this article. Updates to make your visit easier. And again, it seems like they're listening to the guests. It seems like they understand that it has become crazy complicated, and they really do need to simplify this process for, at the end of the day, what the overall experience I've been hearing from most of my friends that take their families on trips or have gone with us, they love the parks. The parks are amazing. The attractions are great. The cast members are always fantastic. The characters, we connect with them. The process of going through it is overwhelming. And when you couple that with the immense price tag that a 4, 5, 6 night or more, vacation costs to go to Walt Disney World or Disneyland or, wherever, it starts becoming untenable for most of my friends. They say that they're glad that they went, that they took their young children, they went with their families, but they don't see the appeal. And they look at me like, why do you, constantly want to go back to these parks? And for a long time, I've been having a really hard time convincing or explaining to, my friends that are not as big of diehard fans as I am, why we love these parks, because the experience is starting to get a bit sour. So hopefully more stuff like this comes, because these are the kind of things that I do think can help the park experience and to bring some of those folks back. Not that Disney has a problem filling their parks, because clearly they don't. They're at capacity all the time, for a lot of stuff. on those busy, holidays and weekend days and stuff. So this is not a situation where they're doing this because they're necessarily, hurting or struggling to fill the parks, but I think they're starting to notice that there's a bit of a softening in the demand. There are things that they've rolled out that haven't necessarily gone over very well. And I think they're starting to hear that feedback. So hopefully this marks a little bit of a shift with, Bob Iger coming back and taking over, and we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited. What are you most excited about? Are any of these updates something that makes a huge difference to your vacations? Is there anything else that you guys can think of that you'd want them to bring back or to do? Personally, like I said, Genie Plus and Lightning Lanes, I'd love them to get rid of that. And I would love the reservation system to go away entirely. I know that's probably never going to happen. But a softening of it, at least, I'm all for it. So we shall see. Hopefully, as it goes on, maybe we'll need it less and less, and maybe it'll be less of an impact, interference in our experience. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point. If you've made it to the end of this video, it's 21 minutes in. God bless you. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this little ranty video. I really do appreciate it. Hit a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. If you've made it to the end of this, you're clearly a fan or, like the way that I ramble. So thank you for supporting the channel. But just make sure you're subscribed, like, share it, leave us a comment. I'm going to get out of here. Probably going to go start playing a Disney Vacation now because it's been a few months since we've been back and I am ready to go. So anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. We'll see y'all around, and as always,